and welcome again to DMA Podcast, brought to you by About the Voice. My name is Omomi and I'm excited to have you here again today. Today we're going to be continuing with what we were talking about last week. Just like I stated, I shared the part 1 of last week's discussion, and then today I'll be sharing the part 2 because I believe that this personal development journey is something that we are taking step by step, or should I say a step at a time. But before I get into what we have for today, I would like to ask, just like I usually do, I'd like to ask, how has your journey been? Have you been intentional? Have you been taking steps? Have you been doing those things that have been making you afraid, those things that have been intimidating you? Have you been able to surmount them? Have you been able to stand up for yourself? Have you been able to take those opportunities that you would have turned down on a normal day? Are you making effort towards being a better version of yourself? If you listen to this podcast all of the time and you're not taking steps, it means that you have been wasting time. For me, I'm a goal-oriented person. I am someone that takes intentionality very, very seriously, and someone who sees time as something that is very important. And so if you're spending 10 minutes of your time listening to me and you are not making changes, then I am not happy with you, because I'm expecting that you would be having results already at this time. Anyways, moving on to what we have for today. So from last week, we talked about volunteering and how it's important that you find a place where you can make an impact and give back, and how it helps to build you as a person and all of that. And I want to believe that if you listened, by now you would have thought of things that you find interesting or things that are of interest to you, and you're already making plans towards looking for an organization or a place, whether offline or online, to give back to volunteer, so that it helps to build you, and so that of course you also contribute to the society at large. And so coming to today's discussion, I'm talking about the power or the importance of telling your story, or talking about yourself as a young person. Gone are the days where you say, oh, I'm a private person, oh, I am this, oh, I am that, I don't like to talk about myself, oh, village people and all of that. I know village people exist and all of those things, but then as a young person, it is important that you don't sit in a corner and you are saying, oh, I am an introvert, oh, I am shy and all of that. There's something that, at a particular point last year, April, I was given the opportunity to lead a particular conversation in a tech program. And in that particular tech program, one of the facilitators there was talking about how a certain young man, if I can remember well, how a certain young man is always out there on a particular social media platform talking about what he's doing, talking about what he's learning, and how he's able to attract the attention of important people who have been of influence and of course help to his life in different areas, including financially, because he talks about what he does, what he learns and all of that stuff. And then he stated how this particular young person gets a lot of opportunities that people who are even better at what he does do not get. And so gone are the days where you sit in your room and you say, oh no, I'm afraid of the camera, oh, I don't want to talk about myself, oh, I don't want to write about myself, oh, I don't want people to know where I am, I don't want people to know where I'm at and all of that. Of course, I'm not saying that you should not be private, but when it comes to personal development, when it comes to intentionality about yourself, there has to be a platform where you talk about what you do. And now talking about what you do is important because that is how you build a presence for yourself. Okay, let's paint a scenario. Let's paint a picture. Let's talk about someone that you know that is very famous. Okay, let me just say someone that we know, for instance, that is even reigning or trending at the moment, Hilda Bassi. So yesterday, Hilda Bassi decided to cook the biggest pot of jollof rice that the world has ever seen. Did she sit in the corner of her room to do it? No, she sat down, she planned, she talked about it. Now, I'm not even talking about the parts where she talked about it. What I want to bring out of the story is this, that Hilda Bassi has a presence on social media. a lot of people know her. If Hilda Bassey decides to stop cooking tomorrow and decides to start a fashion brand, she would not have to pay AIT or NTA or BBC or whatever to run ads for her. All she needs to do is just tell people, her followers, her millions of followers, just to tell them, or thousands and thousands of followers, all she needs to do is to just mention that she has opened a branch somewhere, and everybody will go there to buy. Why? Because she has spent time building presence. She has spent time talking about what she's doing, talking about herself. A lot of you listening to me here, you are studying a particular course in school. Maybe you are studying sciences. Maybe you're not even yet on campus. Maybe you're not even yet on campus. You might just be someone who is still trying to gain admission and all of that stuff. But then basically, let me just say, for instance, you're a campus student and you're studying a particular course. There is nothing wrong with you signing up on LinkedIn, for instance, or on Instagram or on TikTok, and talk about the things that you are learning. If, for instance, you've learned, maybe today in your course, you learned about how artificial intelligence helps to maybe solve problems in the health sector and all of that, you can build a story about that. Just write about it so that people will get to know that, okay, this is where you are at, this is what you've learned, this is what you've been able to build, this is what you've been able to gain. And sometimes it's not even all about the success stories or only about your learnings that you talk about. You can talk about even your failures. You can talk about the fears that you used to have and how you've been able to overcome them. All of these things are important. Okay, so let's say, for instance, you are a 300 or a 200 level student in medicine, and you have an account on LinkedIn, for instance, and then from year one you started talking about your learnings, you're talking about your experiences, you're talking about the opportunities that you've been able to get, the awards you've gotten, the mistakes you've made, the knowledge you've been gathering as a student of medicine. Imagine when you graduate and you've been doing that for 6 years. Of course, in a normal university setting, medicine should be a course studied for 6 years before you now go on to your housemanship and all of those things that is being done. And so imagine you've been talking about your experiences and your learnings, and you've been applying it to life. You've been talking about your failures, your achievements, and all of that, and you have all of those experiences documented right there on social media platforms like maybe Instagram, TikTok, or LinkedIn, or any of those stuff, or any of those platforms. When you're graduating, for instance, and someone says, okay, or let's say you're graduating and you want to search for a job, and let's say that maybe your employer says, okay, where can I see you, get to know you better, or what platform can I get to see your history as a medical person and all of that? And then they ask, and then you just really say, okay, I have been talking about my journey on LinkedIn. Here is the link to my account. That way the employer can look and see a track record of how far you've gone, where you've gone, what you've been able to achieve, what you've been able to do for 6 years. You have been documenting your story. And it's really beautiful because, okay, they know that, okay, this is someone that is knowledgeable. This is person that has not just gone through school, you've not just gone through school, but school has gone through you. You've really been educated and all of that. You have evidences, you have pictures, you have stories, you have a lot of those things documented there, compared to someone who has been in school for 6 years and has no documentation anywhere, has nothing, no evidences and all of that. If, for instance, these two people are standing before an employee, who would they pick? The other person go just explain, no evidence. But then this other person that has been telling her story or telling his story would have evidence of their learnings and what they have been able to achieve. So as a young person that is taking your personal development journey seriously, this is not the time to say that you are shy, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Talk about what you do. Talk about what you learn. There is nothing too small. There is nothing too embarrassing to talk about. Or you might even start by saying, okay, that you grew up in an environment where you've not had time or focus, or you've not had access to a computer, or if you even had a computer, if you had access to a computer, you never paid attention to learning how to use it. But then you started taking your personal development journey seriously, and one of the things that you've learned this period is how to use Microsoft Word. It's beautiful. It's a story of growth. There is nothing to be ashamed of about that. It's a story of growth. You didn't know this before and you're knowing it. These are things that you can share that way. For instance, if an employer or someone that wants to be a mentor to you, or someone that wants to bless you, or someone that wants to be of use to you when it comes to different areas of life, that way they can read your story and say, okay, this person, the whole world would even know at that point, okay, this person has knowledge in Microsoft. You understand? So these are reasons why it's important that you begin to tell your story. If you know you are there, you are just on TikTok shaking your breast and shaking your nyash. Sorry, I beg your pardon for those terms that I use. But then, of course, I know that we can relate to what I am saying. If that is all you do, if your own path in life, if you want to be an influencer, in quote, it's fine. As long as you're taking whatever it is you're doing seriously. But then I believe that you should have something even better to offer as a young person. You might use TikTok for your casual things. You might use Instagram for your casual things. But then you should have a professional platform where you talk about things other than you having fun and all of that. And a good platform to use is LinkedIn. It's a very professional platform. For those of you that don't know what LinkedIn is, I'll be spelling it out for you. LINKEDIN. It's an app. You can also access it on web. All you need to do is to create an account. It's a professional platform where you can tell your story, you can share your personal development journey, just a place where you can document your achievements as a person. And if you prefer to use Facebook, it's fine. Just make sure that if you're taking your personal development journey seriously, you should have a platform where you tell your story. Some people even use TikTok as the platform where they tell their stories. Where whatever platform you choose is fine. It's just that LinkedIn is more tailored to when it comes to work, when it comes to professionalism and all of that. So you can pick a platform. And then for those of you who already know about LinkedIn but are feeling intimidated because it looks like a very serious place, do not be intimidated. The people there are human beings. They're human beings like you and me. And most times what is appreciated even on platforms like that is you being authentic. Of course, you should try to package yourself to some extent, but then it is okay for you to be yourself. Be that young person that you are. Be natural. Do your best. Share what you know. Share what you have, whichever way you can. These days, when you have your story written down, you can just send it to ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, help me fine-tune this story in a way that sounds professional, or that in a way that just help me fine-tune it in a way that I can present it on LinkedIn and all of that. And then it is going to help you work on your post, and then you can just edit it mildly and then upload. And so there is nothing actually stopping you except you want to stop yourself. So basically what I've come to share with you in this particular episode is why it's important to not say that you're an introvert, you're a private person and all of that. Some of you are doing so many beautiful things, but nobody knows about it. People who don't even know up to what you know are making the money that you have never made in your life. Why? Because they're talking about what they're doing. They are constantly talking about what they're doing. There's some people that if they learn how to type ABC on the computer today, they will tell it, they will go and share it somewhere. They are putting themselves in a position where opportunities can reach them, where opportunities can see them, where opportunities can locate them. And so for you as a person, you might be very talented, you might know a lot about the computer, but nobody, even your friends don't even know that you know these things. Even your own friends don't know because you are so private and all of that. And it is not beneficial to you, especially in this world where everything is online. And so you have to find a way to make sure that the things that you know, you are talking about them constantly. And so let's say, for instance, you are now learning how to speak well, how to pronounce words and all of that. These are things that you can talk about. Make sure that you are constantly documenting your journey somewhere. And so stop being that person that is very private, unnecessarily private. Privacy is not going to pay your bills, Abby. How much has been private? How much has it added to your account? You understand? So you have to be wise. And just like I say, I'm an advocate for being wise. You have to be wise, and you have to be wise early. If people who do not know as much as you know are making, for instance, let's say money, or making so much impact, how much more you? When you look at everything, there's some of you that do certain things, and your friends are like, wow, you do these things so well, and nobody knows. You're just in one corner, and people are looking for that particular thing that you know how to do. Some of you know how to do graphics, you know how to edit videos, you know how to talk, you are talented, but you are hiding. It will not pay you. Instagram is there, TikTok is there, LinkedIn is there, Facebook is there. Start talking about what you do. Talk about your failures, talk about your wins, talk about your experiences, talk about what you're learning in class, talk about what you're doing while you're waiting for admission, talk about what you're doing while you're in secondary school. Just talk about what you do. Take pictures, document your journey. All of these things are very, very, very important. Oh my god. Oh my god, time has gone. Anyways, so this is what I have come to say today. I want to do a giveaway. And so the question for my giveaway is, or should I say the prize? First of all, the prize. I'm going to be putting a small token for a start, because I have not really planned what I really want to do for a proper giveaway. So basically, what I'm going to be requesting that you do, what I'm going to be asking of you, is that you reach out to me. My number is in the description for this particular episode. You'll see my number there. You can send me a message. Tell me what you have been able to achieve so far from listening to this podcast, and what improvements you've been able to make as a young person. And then you can tell me that is going to win you 1,000 naira airtime for whatever network you're using. So let's start with that for now, while I sit down to think of what exactly I want to do or what I want to give out as my proper giveaway. And so reach out to me, send me a message, tell me what you've been able to do, the changes you've been able to make as a result of listening to this podcast, and the impact that this has made. I'm going to be giving this out to 2 people. And so when you reach out, if I tell you that 2 persons have already reached out to me, then that means 2 persons have reached out and you cannot win. But then if you're fast and you reach out to me, you'll be winning yourself 1,000 naira airtime in whatever network that you use. Do not lie. I know how to probe people very well. So if you are lying, I will catch you. Anyways, so this is how we're going to be wrapping it up today. Do not forget the importance, the highlight of today's podcast or this episode is that you actively tell your story, is that you actively talk about what you do. If you are someone that likes to sing, you are someone that likes to talk, you are someone that likes to share ideas, begin to put it out there. Start singing on TikTok, start singing on Instagram. Of course, LinkedIn is not really a place where you go to sing. LinkedIn is not a place where you go to sing, but you can sing on Instagram, you can sing on TikTok. You can start doing that, and the earlier you started, the better for you. I hope you understand. Thank you for staying with me. Do not forget that this podcast is brought to you by About the Voice. My name is Omomi. Do not forget to like, do not forget to rate this podcast, and do not forget to share. Also, if you are a follower of this podcast and you enjoy the conversation, please do not forget to follow. And also let people who you know this might be beneficial to let them know that they should follow, because it is not all the time that this link will be distributed. But if you are following, you're going to get a notification anytime podcast is dropped, if a new episode is dropped. Again, this podcast is brought to you by About the Voice, and we say that you are number one. Bye-bye.